24th. And this is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal. Still legal today. I don't know how. We're here. A lot going on. As usual. Maybe a little more than usual. I don't know if you watch this show regularly, but I'm not one. I guess I wouldn't say I'm getting tired of it, but we predict the future on this show quite a bit. And I said last time, I told you, this is before he fucking dropped the bombs. I said, he says 2 weeks and everything, he doesn't do anything. I was like, this bombing thing is be the one thing he does do. Ed, he fucking did it. It's like, but it's not a war. We're not a war. They're trying to make it very clear. It's not a war. It's just casual bombing. I'll tell you what. I'm going to work for this guy because Vance and Rubio and all these people, they went on all the shows to make it very clear. Look, we're not looking for regime change in Iran. We're not looking for regime change. That's not what we're doing here. And then about 5 minutes later, Trump tweets, well, why not regime change? They don't know what they're doing. These people. So anyway, let's recap what's happened. Trump decided with all to ignore all the intelligence. It says that they're not really trying to build a bomb. He says, no, they're going to build a bomb by the weekend. We got to bomb them. And I don't care about the intelligence. Marco Rubio said, forget about the intelligence, which I think should be the new slogan for America. America, forget about intelligence. It's like, who needs it? Look at this place. Forget about intelligence. Yeah, because we don't have any. There ain't nobody telling us shit. You think that other countries are going to tell us anything? I've already told you this a while back. They done cut us off. So all we have left is our own intelligence, and now he's choosing to ignore that. This is president on a hunch. That's what this is. So, let's agitate the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. Why? Because who do we have in charge of counterterrorism? A 22-year-old former grocery clerk. That's who's in charge of counterterrorism, if you weren't aware. I don't remember his name, but he's a 22-year-old Trump nutlicker they just put in charge of counterterrorism. And what vast experience does he have in this field? Nothing. He bagged groceries at a Ralph's. Do you feel safe? I do. This kid's gonna bag these terrorists up. It's unbelievable. And then Tulsi Gabbard, I said, they're not building a bomb. And he said, I don't care what she says. She's only the director of national intelligence. He doesn't care what she says. Because Trump is going to do what Trump wants to do. Which means anything. You can... Anyway, so let's go through the scenarios. I mean, of what actually happened. So, he orders the bunker busters to be dropped on all the nuclear sites. Right? Never mind that it's against international law to attack neutral nuclear sites because of why? Because of the obvious nuclear contamination. So he broke international law. He did not inform the Congress. Well, he did inform the Republicans. He did not inform the Democrats until after it was done. Then he said, all right, yeah, I just bombed somebody. You might, in case you want to know. So anyway, then he comes out and says, hey, what's up, Julia? Glad you're here. How you feeling? So he bombs him, and he immediately comes out, we totally obliterated everything. Their nuclear program is completely destroyed. Without any intelligence assessment or anything about that. He just declares it so, like he does everything else. He just says it into existence. With no challenge whatsoever from anyone. I do enjoy Caitlin Collins kind of tries to stand up to him more than most reporters, and I do. Yes, Christella, you could leave the Twitch open. We have to set up an account, I suppose. We can put this show on the Twitch. We've already had this discussion. I'm pretty done with Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg in general. I wish that him and Musk, I wish they'd build that ship. They'd all go to fucking Mars, because I'm sick of all of them. Anyway, so he declares everything's been obliterated. And come and find out, because he can't shut his fucking mouth for 5 seconds, all the tweeting and all the talking and all the shit, Iran just moved all their shit. About 400 pounds of 60% enriched uranium, they trucked right out of there. But no one knows where it is now. But it's somewhere in Iran. It's like, and he bombed the shit out of these places. Now, then they swear up and down that we're not at war, or the regime change, and then he says, what on a regime change? And so then, last night, he comes out, again, just declares something without any, he doesn't wait for shit to happen. He declares what might happen. And he may or may not be correct. So he says, I negotiated a ceasefire between Iran and Israel, and it will begin at 4 in the morning. And hopefully this is the end of the war. It'll be done forever. Well, at about 4:35, Iran shot some missiles at Israel. So ceasefire lasted about 5 minutes. Could be the shortest ceasefire in the history of the world. 5 minutes. Anyway, so Israel says, we're going to respond. And then he says, hey, please, don't drop the bombs on Israel. It'll be a huge violation. And, no one gives a fuck what he says. Don't you understand this? He's just talking to himself and to his nut-licking cult. That was what was funny. The funniest part about the whole thing was when they dropped the bombs, and Fox and Scott Jennings, they all had a heart on there. They're all like, oh, look, see, he's ended this war. He's it's a master stroke of genius. And they're all doing this victory lap, like he's a cheap piece of Middle East, and they all started saying, "Oh, he should get Nobel Peace Prize for this." And I don't know what their obsession is with him getting a Nobel Peace Prize, and I don't know how dropping bombs on somebody's face equals Nobel Peace Prize. It's the most peaceful bombing you've ever seen. It's again, I've got to say this all the fucking time. You cannot make this shit up. Like, this is the world we live in. With a 80-year-old toddler in charge of the world with a Twitter account. Somebody needs to shut that shit off. Like, he's president by Twitter. Contradicting his own people. It's like, how would you like to work for a guy that sends you out all day to say these talking points, and all day you're going from TV show to TV show, and you're digging in, and you're licking the nuts as hard as you can, and you're saying all the things that they're asking you to say, and then 2 minutes later, he just contradicts you. Well, I assure you I speak for the president. Well, this tweet says that you don't. No, Julia, it was Pakistan. I don't know how he got Pakistan to nominate him for a peace prize, but they promptly withdrew. Someone nominated him for a peace prize, and then they withdrew it today. So the same thing. His nomination for a peace prize was about, I don't know, 15 hours maybe. I don't even think it was 24 hours. They rescinded the nomination. So anyway, he walks out. He declares there's a ceasefire. 5 minutes later, they violate the ceasefire, right? And then Israel says they're going to retaliate. And then he walks out of the White House lawn, I swear to God, and he says to the reporters that, well, they've been fighting for so long, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I'm going, I'm pretty sure there's one person who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, and that would be you. You fucking clown. Like, hey, he got something right. He said he don't know what the fuck he's doing. Yes, exactly. He does not know what the fuck he's doing. It's very apparent. Not to the cult, though. You see the Fox News twisting and turning and you know, oh, it's just like, this is what needed to be done, even though he says it ended all the wars. He hasn't ended one war, and now we're involved in one. I think he was correct when he said, only I could do it. Yes, only you could monumentally fuck up everything this bad. Only you. It's like, and again, we're not getting any intelligence from anybody else. I hope you know this, right? They're not telling us shit. The MI6, the British, the French, all the Europeans, they're not telling us nothing. Think they're going to share their classified information with us? So he can go, forget about that. It doesn't matter. What they say is like, okay. I have thoroughly researched this on the internet, on the YouTubes and the Reddits, and and I have concluded that the intelligence community professional intelligence agents are wrong. Here's 2 Trump tweets that were 10 hours apart. The first one says, Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in the future. They have so much to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness and truth. The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with great promise. God bless you both. Then Iran shot some missiles at Israel. And then Israel said they're going to bomb the shit out of them. And then Trump, 10 hours later, Israel, do not drop these bombs. If you do it, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. I don't know why he feels like he's got to sign his tweets that are tweeted on real Donald Trump Twitter, but apparently he wanted them to know that he's the President of the United States. And they better turn their planes around. Oh my God. And then, this is the kicker. So they said, they sent their people all out. The Baghdad Barbie and all the rest of them to say, oh, we've completely obliterated their nuclear program. It is completely destroyed. Without any intelligence analysts looking at any of this, right? So the intelligence analysts look at this and they determine, hey, you didn't destroy anything. To tell you the truth, they sealed up the thing, but the structures inside not destroyed. Centrifuges probably not destroyed. The uranium taken out, so it wasn't destroyed. Nothing is destroyed. This says, early U.S. intel suggests American strikes did not destroy Iran's nuclear sites and likely only set the program back by months. So, here comes Baghdad Barbie. This is a quote. This alleged assessment is a flat-out wrong. It was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous, low-level loser in the intelligence community. The leaking of this alleged assessment is a clear attempt to demean President Trump and discredit the brave fighter pilots who conducted a perfectly executed mission to obliterate Iran's nuclear program. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14 30,000-pound bombs perfectly on their targets. Total obliteration. So again, pay no mind to the intelligence professionals, because Trump and Caroline Levitt say it's been destroyed. It's been destroyed, goddamn. And again, you didn't know this, Iran is the largest sponsor, state sponsor of international terrorism on the planet. Don't worry. The grocery clerk from Ralph's will keep you safe. This is what we're at. But this is another thing I hate about the fucking media. Like, right? Grocery clerk from Ralph's. I mean, I use Ralph's. I don't know if he worked for Ralph's or he worked for Albertsons or I don't know who he fucking worked for. Anyway, he bagged groceries in a grocery store. He's 22 years old. He's in charge of counterterrorism. And not one media outlet is making a big deal about that. No one's saying a goddamn thing. Now, if there's a terrorist attack, they'll probably bring it up. But they don't think they should bring it up first. Right? They're supposed to be informing people of what's going on. They're supposed to be telling the American people, what the situation is that they're in, which is why this intelligence agent leaked the... First of all, what does it matter if they leak something that Trump's not even going to read anyway? Or if he does, he's just going to throw it in the garbage and ignore it because it doesn't say what he wants it to say. Yes, the Iranians get the old French on it. Le fuck you! This is the thing. Iran responded, right? Well, they called it a response. What they did was they had to, like, for their own people, they had to pretend like they were responding and they weren't just going to lay down for this. So they shot some missiles at some bases that we have in Qatar. But they called the United States first. They said, we're going to shoot some missiles. And they told us exactly where and when. Then they shot one at like an abandoned base. And that's the only one they got through. It's an abandoned base. No one's there. It doesn't matter. They hit that. You go, oh, that's our response. Because I'll tell you what the Iranians are afraid of, I'm sure. And I am too, is who knows what this guy will do. I mean, I think we're pretty through the looking glass of, like, there's not much that Trump will do or won't do to try to make himself look tough, or hard. That's why I said before, it's like, this is all because they called him a chicken. That taco thing. I'll show you a taco. I'm gonna blow some shit up. How much money have they just blown through? I mean, it's pretty much been well established that none of these agencies have a budget. They had budget hearings at the Congress, and almost all of the agency heads said they didn't have a budget set up. But they're all going 365 miles an hour toward deportation and all this other shit. And half the FBI he is diverted to helping ICE deport dishwashers from Waffle House and roofers from Home Depot. And so the FBI's got one hand tied behind his back. The counterterrorism agency is being run, like I said, by a 22-year-old grocery clerk from Ralph's. It's unbelievable. And then so there was a NATO meeting, right? And Trump went to the NATO meeting. But here's the deal: on the NATO meeting, since the G7 happened, they changed the format of the NATO meeting so that he only has to go to one little meeting, so they can keep him awake, I guess. They're supposed to have like multiple days and multiple meetings about all kinds of shit. No, they changed it all to one. Because his attention span is not long enough for a whole weekend. That's a long time, a whole weekend. You're going to keep him engaged for... I said, this is all because of that taco thing. I'll show him taco. Send the stealth bombers. Call me a chicken. I will say this. Yes. Yes, Julia. He actually robbed the place. It was like a tire shop or something. January 6th, yes, impersonated an ICE officer. And then he robbed the place. With a full pardon from Trump. Only the best people. These people got railroaded, they deserve a pardon. And now they're robbing. But the immigrants are the ones you got to be worried about. This is where we are, folks. This is America. It's a fucking clown show. Ringling Brothers. I said Ringling Brothers shutting down the circus. It's like shut it down. we can no longer compete with the actual circus that our society has become. Remember, Marco Rubio is wearing like 5 hats. Have you heard one? He's the national security advisor. Have you heard one time they said Trump was consulting with his national security advisor, Marco Rubio? No. Marco Rubio's not doing anything. He's running around trying to put out fires. He's not really in charge of anything. He's not even negotiating any of these negotiations. It's his golf board. That's fine, Costello. I would say, what was it? Couple shows ago, we got into 96 messages. We were like 3 short of getting that cup again. It doesn't matter. The shorts have been working really good. My Instagram money, or Meta money, is doubled. It's not a lot, but it's doubled. And I got a notice from Instagram that said, your views are way up. It's like, yeah, now that I'm actually making, I'm doing content. Like before, I just post memes. Like now I have actual videos. People watching them. The shorts have been doing well. Yeah. Right? It's, I don't know what's going on, though, about the actual ceasefire at this point. I've been trying to watch before I came down here, but it was rather quiet. Nothing's going on at this second. But, BB, he can fucking fire it up at any second. Yes, Julia says she wants Doc Brown to fire up the DeLorean and take me back to 1985. Yes. Yes. What? Then we just bombed Iraq. This is the same exact shit that happened the last time Republicans were in charge. They think Trump is different. Try to vote for Trump. He's different. He's completely different. It turns out he's just George W. Bush with the fucking blonde ferret on his head. It's like, he did the same thing. Oh, he can't get weapons of mass destruction. We gotta do something. Through all their speeches, that Trump was like, these interventionists, they fucked up everything. No one intervenes like Trump. And the nutlickers just go along with it. Although he is getting some pushback now. Even Marge is like, this is wrong. And Thomas Massey and Trump are in full-on war. I predicted this too. If you watch this show regularly, I don't know how many episodes ago, but we can go back to the record. It's there. Well, I told you, Trump's going to come here, and he's going to try to primary Massey out of the Congress, and that's what they're doing. They just founded a mega Kentucky group that is going to put up a candidate, I believe. Now, I don't know this, and I don't have any inside sources. This is just my hunch. Well, that's good, Bobcat. Thanks for watching, Bobcat, if that makes you feel better. I believe it'll be Scott Jennings. There's not a more pathetic nutlicker they can find than Scott Jennings. And he lives in Kentucky. How convenient. I believe he'll be the candidate that comes here and tries to get rid of Thomas Massie. Can you believe that? He's got the entire Congress filled with nutlickers, and he can't stand one person who's not a nutlicker to be in the Congress. Gotta get rid of him. This is how insecure this guy is. It's unbelievable. Anyway, so Massey and someone are going to be warring, and we will be following that, because that'll be happening here, right here, where I can take my little camera and my little microphones. I can go out to the where they can, I don't know, they'll probably have a debate somewhere. They'll probably have all kinds of stuff. So we're gonna follow this intently. This is when I get the chance to turn this show into what I really want it to be, which is this and with some news, real news, where I go out and put myself into the situation somehow. And it's weird, because now I gotta be on Massey's side. And I've always hated Massey. I used to troll him on his Twitter page all the time. But now I gotta be like, yeah, go Massey. This is what Trump has done. This is what Trump does to people. He turns up to down, black to white. It's like, they're gonna have hated Massey for years, but now I gotta like him. At least he's standing up to him. I'll give Massey this. He is a man of integrity. He has a lot of dumb, bad ideas, but he sticks with them. And he has principles, and he doesn't break them. You know, there's not a lot of people like that left. Massey was, I said, he's been around a long time. He was around before Trump. So he just hasn't really changed that much. Only now, like I said, you got to be on his side. I will, Costello. I promise you. Maybe tomorrow. I'm off work tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll set up a Twitch. Whalen. Yes, Massey isn't bought by AIPAC. Yes. Well, AIPAC, we know what, AIPAC, if you don't know, is it's the financial arm of Israel that buys all the politicians in the United States. What you have now is, like I said, it's Trumpism is a weird marriage between the Republican Party and these fucking evangelical Christians that believe, that World War III is actually good because it's the end times so they can get raptured. There's a certain wing that wants this. They want this to happen. Thanks for watching, Waylon, really. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, there's a certain element of Trumpism, like I said, that are hardcore, like I said, militant Christians that want the end times to come. Yes, very few have not taken the blood money. Exactly. They own little Mike Johnson. He's right in the pocket. He's one of these people. He reads the Bible every night. It's like, we need to get rid of these people. It's like, they're going to drive us right off the edge of the cliff. I mean, we're already well on the way. Julia says, yeah, you made me nervous announcing the B-52 or the B-2's made safe and back to Missouri. Yeah, but it's, well, you gotta tell somebody because you can't see them. They're invisible. The invisible planes. Like, she says she's across the river from the base, and if Iran decided to attack it, she would feel it. Yes, yeah, you would. They're not going to attack like that. if Iran does do something, it'll be, like I said, it'll be some sneaky fucking sleeper cell terrorism or something like that. But I don't believe they'll do that. Not here, at least, because, like I said, you don't know what this fucking guy will do. It's like you're not scared of him, but you gotta kind of be scared of him, you know, because he is crazy. Yes, Whalen says the Christian nationalists believe the Jews have to rebuild the temple and gather there so Jesus will come back. Yes, correct. There also has to be Armageddon. Then you read the Revelation. There's an Armageddon, and then there's 4 horsemen. They're gonna ride through the sky. I don't know how that works, but that's the story. And then there will be a rapture where they will all float up to the sky and probably explode when they leave the atmosphere. It's unbelievable. It's what these people believe. I know, I grew up in it. The fucking Baptists, they're all about that fucking revelation. That's like yeah, it's the sleeper cell. It's the sleeper cell is like the boogeyman. You know, the sleeper cell is like the George Soros of terrorism. It's like he's always there. And it's always anyway. We're pretty far into this show, and I haven't even discussed Abrego Garcia because I want to bring that up. I don't know if you remember this. Again, I'm tired of predicting the future on this show, but several episodes back, I told you they cooked up these fucking charges against Abrego Garcia. By how did they do that? They went into federal prison and they looked around and they told people, hey, we'll get you out of prison if you testify against this dude. And that's what they did. They got several people to testify against this person. And well, they had their first court hearing, and it didn't go very well. Because the judge, it's the actual transcript of the judge's interpretation of what happened. They went to the court and they told Abrego Garcia he's been operating in a human smuggling ring for the last several years, and they told him he even took his kids with him while he was doing this. I don't know where that came from. I guess so they can impugn him as a father as well. I mean, I don't know. These are not smart people that you're dealing with. So here's the actual judge said, I swear, and if you read this and you watch this show, you'll remember that I said something very similar about this about a month ago without any hearing or looking at any evidence whatsoever. Says the court gives little weight to this hearsay testimony. Double hearsay through Special Agent Joseph's testimony of the first male cooperator, a 2-time previously deported felon, an acknowledged ringleader of a human smuggling operation, who has now obtained for himself an early release from federal prison and a delay of a 6th deportation by providing information to the government. Now, remember, got to get these criminals out, got to deport them. Well, except this guy, because he's going to testify against the guy that we're trying to railroad. It says, nor do the hearsay statements of the second male cooperator on this issue fare any better, as his requested release from jail and delay of another deportation depends on providing information that the government finds useful. Even without discounting the weight of the testimony of the first and second male cooperators for the multiple layers of hearsay, their testimony and statements defy common sense. Both male cooperators stated that other than the 3 or 4 trips total without his children, Abrego typically took his children with him during the alleged smuggling trips from Maryland to Houston and back, some 2,900 miles round trip, as often as 3 or 4 times a week. The sheer number of hours that would be required to maintain this schedule, which would consistently be more than 120 hours per week of driving time, approach physical impossibility. For that additional reason, the court finds that the statements of the first and second male cooperators are not reliable to establish that this case involves a minor victim. Once again, they're full of shit. Abrego Garcia didn't do any of these things that they say he did. And he's not a member of Tren Aragua, and they can't prove he's a member of MS-13. They don't have anything on this guy. But rather than to say that they made a mistake, they're going to double down, triple down. They're never going to say that they made a mistake. And now they're going to railroad and cook up charges against them. And they're going to sell freedom to real criminals to get this testimony. Now, if that doesn't chill your blood, nothing will. And the government is actively cooking up railroad charges against people. You think for 1 second that they wouldn't do that to you? You're fucking mistaken. Yes, Mahmoud Khalil was freed. And again, if he was a terrorist and they had proof that he was a terrorist, he wouldn't be free. The judges let him out. Why? Because they had no evidence against him. He didn't do anything except participate in that protest for Palestine and speak out against the government of Israel. He's free. And a judge said that Abrego Garcia should get bail and be freed. And they're like, they're just going to pick him up ICE. Put him back in the ICE detention facility that he was probably in before they sent him off to Seacott prison. See, here's the thing. And I told you that before. They don't want him talking about what he saw at the Seacott prison. Like I said, I can't confirm that this is true, but I've heard several sources say it on television. I've read it in other places. They said Abrego Garcia is the only person to ever go inside the Seacott prison and come out. What goes on at the Seacott prison? No one really knows. It's a mystery. Well, Abrego Garcia can tell what happened to him, and they don't want that. When he gets out of prison or out of jail, what's the first thing that'll happen? He'll get someone who'll get an interview with him. I hope it's Terry Moran. I hope Abrego Garcia doesn't go to a network. That he goes to someone like Terry Moran, who was fired from the network, and to go to Substack or something. Because the media itself is complicit in all this shit. No one still has not figured out that this is not normal. None of this is normal, and they should stop treating it as being normal. It's not normal. What you have is a rogue administration and a president who's a lunatic and a compulsive liar who just makes shit up. The only problem is he's in charge of the largest military apparatus on the planet with hundreds of nuclear weapons. Yes, Julie, and there was also an older gentleman who died in ICE custody because they wouldn't give him health care. There's lots and lots and lots of things. And now they're building some alligator It's a prison in the Everglades. It's you want to build it in the Everglades so no one will want to get out because it's surrounded by alligators and gigantic pythons and shit. It's like you can't make it up. Like I said the other day, this country's become so stupid. It's almost intolerable. If I wasn't stuck here, I said I'd be fucking gone already. I'm not kidding. Every day I'm forced to stay here and live with these idiots. It's another day wasted and gone by. That's the other thing I think is funny, which I've talked about this before, but it is true. Everybody says that they want to do things, and everybody says that they support people that do things, and then, you know, I'm almost to 7,000 followers on Blue Sky, and I post my shorts and my podcasts on there. Nothing. No one gives a fuck. It's like everybody's talking shit. They're all. Everybody's in their own little bubble, where they are the star of the show. I mean, that sounds funny for somebody sitting here talking to a camera to say that, I suppose, but I don't do this to be the star of the show. I tell you before, I do it because I think it needs to be done. Somebody's got to do something. Somebody's got to fight. You know, somebody's got to make sure that the truth gets out there because the media itself isn't doing shit. I said they put Scott Jennings on TV to lie with impunity every fucking night. He was on Abby Phillip just last night before the ceasefire fiasco and talking about how Trump is the greatest. We needed to bomb him, and you know, it doesn't matter that we've done this 3 fucking times before, and it was always a failure. The Republican Party, as much as it has changed, has not changed at all. Yeah, Julia says she's only in a red county in a blue state. Can't imagine what I'm going through. Yeah, this is Kentucky. It's Ohio. The same thing. Cincinnati is like a Democratic, the one little Democratic enclave in Ohio. But you go out of Cincinnati, and not even like out of the city. You just go to the outskirts of the city, and it's immediately all Trumpers. I will say this. I noticed something today. Every day I walk my dog around the block in this neighborhood where I live, and there was a house that had a little thing of Trump in the yard, and they had a flag with the fight, you know, flag hanging up. And today I was walking the dog, and that stuff was gone. The fight flag was gone. The little Trump fucking thing that you stick in the yard, that was gone. I almost wanted to knock on the door and ask him, excuse me, did you finally remove your head from your ass and see what's going on around here? It's like, was the bombing of Iran too much? Was that it? Was it, you know, like, what was it? Because the flags were up. Through all the Doge, through all the other shit, flags were up. Little thing was in the yard. Today, flag's gone. I'm wondering, did this guy finally decide that he fucked up? Because that's the other contention I've been making on this show, that all of this is a gigantic psychological experiment to see just how much shit people will take before they will admit that they fucked up. And one redneck taking his flag down off of his house doesn't mean that, like, oh look, everyone's turning, but it does mean something. These were hardcore Trumpers. Now, I could go back around tomorrow, I could be back up. Maybe he took it down to wash it. But he also took his little Trump, I said, it was like a picture of Trump, you know, with two things that you stick into the yard, that's gone too. So he didn't take that down to Washington. No. Marcel says you usually see him ripped up by the storms. Yeah, but there wasn't no storm here. It's hot as shit. Flag was just gone. I think he removed it. I think that the bombing of Iran, and he was like, what the fuck? A lot of people voted for Trump because he says he's going to end these wars. That he was going to keep us out of these wars. And then J.D. Vance, who also is an anti-interventionist and was like, America should be isolationist and stay out of these foreign wars. He's all going on now. He's like, oh yeah, we needed to do this. And the only difference between this and what happened before is before we had really dumb presidents. What? It's like you work for the dumbest fucking guy ever. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't have like a giant list of world leaders of, of the past or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump might be the dumbest fucking person to ever hold office ever in the history of the world. I mean, the highest office, president and shit. I mean, well, Neville Chamberlain was pretty fucking stupid. It's like, he just bowed down for Hitler. Well, I believe Hitler. He's a good guy. If we just give him, we just let him have that piece of Czechoslovakia, he'll stop. That was pretty fucking stupid. So let's say Trump and Neville Chamberlain are neck and neck right now for dumbest president in the history of the world. I'll never, this prime minister, same shit. Julia says the fight flag down my road is still up as of today. Hopefully I won't have to look at it tomorrow. Well, this guy, he took his down today. Because it was up yesterday. I walk past his house every single day. And every single day, that's what I thought when I walked by. I was like, oh, he's still got that shit there. He's still hanging on. It's like, today it was all gone. He cleared his yard of Trump paraphernalia. To tell you the truth, there was several houses on that block that had Trump flags of some sort. There was one that had it said, I'm a Trump girl, get over it. It was a big flag. That's gone too. I don't see a lot of the Trump stuff anymore. Now, people can just take it down because there ain't no election or anything, but I mean, the fight flag has been hanging up for 6 months now. I wouldn't think that he had aims to taking it down, but it's gone now, and his yard thing. So, like I said, if it was just one of them, I would be like, maybe, like you said, maybe he took the flag in to wash it because it was dirty or something. But the yard thing being gone too makes me think that he walked out there pissed off and he took down everything. Because I said, Marge is saying it too. Marge is like, this is like a stab in the back. You said we aren't going to get any foreign wars, and they still haven't learned it. You can't believe a fucking thing this guy says. And even if he means what he says 1 minute, he could change his mind completely the next second. Julia says maybe his wife gave an ultimatum. Take the flag down or no more pussy. It's like, you gotta make a choice. Trump or pussy. And he was like, oh, I guess I'll take down the fucking flag. It would be impressive if his wife had said that in January, and he went 6 months with no pussy. Until yesterday, he was like, I can't take it anymore. I need you to blow me. Here's the flag. I took it down. Please suck my dick. This is where we're at, man. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. But we're going to continue to go through these events, and I guess I'll continue predicting the future. Can I get a job at like a fair or something, like somewhere where it's like this man predicts the future? Like, he is a, oh no, Kristaps Porzingis traded to the Hawks. The Celtics are cleaning house. Yes, right. Here's a man who predicts the future. Now, when does he predict the future? He doesn't know. He just be talking. But somewhere in his rants, he will predict the future. Current events will show you when it happens. Now, I'll tell you this much. It's happened way too much for it to be a coincidence. It's not a coincidence, folks. I've been watching this shit and following this shit my whole life. It doesn't take a genius or an intelligence analyst or anything to put all these things together and tell you what's going to happen. Now, what's going to happen? I don't know. That's why no one's ever done this before. It's very unpredictable. What can happen, what Iran can do, what they can't do. You know, Iran's backed into a corner. That's the problem. Brewster Thomas. Yes, exactly. Julia. I should start wearing like a wacky hat. Like it's like Brewster Thomas will predict the future. Like I said, I can't tell you what's going to happen here because it's very unpredictable. And that's why no one's ever done this before, like I said, because it's unpredictable. You don't know what these people are going to do. I have a feeling they're going to do something. They have to hedge their bets because, like I said, they can't hit us too hard. And on the homeland issue, because like you look at 9/11, what happened? You know, like they don't want that, like the whole might of the U.S. military coming down on them. But we don't want that either. Boots on the ground in Iran. There's 92 million people in Iran. It's a lot of fucking people, man. You gonna send the army there? Like, I don't know. And I don't know if you know this about Iran, but they're pretty crazy. And when they fought Saddam Hussein, dudes just ran into the human meat wall of human beings that are just willing to die. They just run right. It's like, I don't think we have that kind of fortitude. It could get ugly fast. But I don't think I think even Trump knows that's a bad call. That's why the bombing was kind of stupid. The man is stupid. Let's just be honest. He's not a smart guy. He lives in the moment. He cannot strategize or plan out or think about like the consequences of what he does. He just moves from what he feels now to what he feels 5 minutes from now to what he feels tomorrow. Which tomorrow he could feel completely different than he felt today because he doesn't have any real ideas or a moral center. He's a creature of the moment and he has to win every moment, and that's impossible. He's going to destroy himself and his legacy just by virtue of the way he is. You know, a guy who thinks he knows everything when he really doesn't know anything. A guy who won't listen to advice from people who are smarter than him. You know, a guy who doesn't want anybody to tell him no ever. A guy like that cannot succeed in this spot. The only unfortunate thing is that we're all riding along with them. Anyway. I'm off work tomorrow, so I'm going to go out tonight. That's why I'm wearing this nicer shirt. I'm going to go eat and have a drink. Again, I thank each and every one of you for being here. The Facebook police, I don't know how much longer I'm banned. I guess I'll have to look that up, and then I'll be able to tell you when I'll be back on the Facebook. But Questel's right. Like, I might as well just move to Twitch. Even though I don't have any followers there, nobody knows who I am. It's like, if we do this, Questel, you gotta help me. We gotta push the show. My sister does the Twitch, but I don't know if she'll help me because she thinks I'm crazy. I think she's probably right. Anyway, I'm gonna go out. So please, you guys enjoy your evening, and I'll be back Thursday at 6 o'clock. I'm Bruce Leonard, and this is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal, and it's still legal, as far as I know. Hopefully the nukes don't drop by Thursday. We'll see you at 6.